Hey everyone, this is Carla, and welcome to an all new episode of Projectized. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about the business of project management. And as you can see on the screen, Atlassian is going to pay $165 million for AgileCraft, and they are attempting to increase their brand equity and their market share in project management software. So what does this mean for project managers? It means quite a lot, especially since Atlassian already has Trello. So I wanted to bring this to mind because what I wanted to do with Projectized is to make sure that, people understand and have realistic grip of project management and how to apply project management in the real world. And this is a real world example of project management because project managers use software, and software is one of the tools, one of the communication tools. If you were to look at chapter 10, which is project management, communication, knowledge area in project software, is one of the communication tools. I also believe it is also in chapter 9 for project resource management because when you acquire and you manage the project team, you're using project management software as well as virtual teams and getting your project done from beginning to end. So I wanted to come on here and do this because it just came across the wire today. And to give you a background about it, Atlassian, as I mentioned before, acquired Trello in 2017, and that is a workflow management tool, and it directly competes with Asana and Slack. You heard of those two workflow management tools. AgileCraft is business project software tracking tool. And as you mentioned, Agile, you have Agile project management, which is a life cycle that originates in information technology sector and has gone beyond just the computers. You have education, you have newspapers do a lot of Agile management. I am certified Scrum Master. Scrum is a subset of Agile. I also wanted to do this Projectized and cover this article because I wanted to cover the people who watch my show who also do Agile project management. But to acquire it, it was cheaper than actually Atlassian building it from scratch. So that's also going into the procurement management, and process 12.1 is a make or buy decision. Well, Atlassian made a buy decision whether to make it in-house. And that's something that you have to do, a decision you have to make as a project manager and your project team with a contract, whether or not you make it in-house or you make it out-of-house or you buy it. And in this situation, Atlassian decided to buy AgileCraft rather than create its own because the startup cost, ramping it up will cost a lot more than just acquiring AgileCraft. As Fortune says, the deal is said to close in April. And that happens a lot, when you acquire different things. As I mentioned before, Atlassian acquired Trello. And in addition to just workflow management, which is also project management, and time management or schedule management, which are elements of project management, Atlassian also owns Jira and Confluence, which is business analyst software, and DevOps software, which is development operations. And so Atlassian is very huge. And as I mentioned before in the beginning of my Projectized show, they wanted to expand their market share in project management software. And they know that people are using project management software to build and create and run their companies. As I mentioned before, relating to the project management body of knowledge when you're doing virtual teams, which is project resource knowledge management area, which is chapter 9. With you're dealing with virtual teams. As I mentioned, project management software is probably also project resource knowledge management area, as well as chapter 10, which is project communication knowledge area, because you're using software and you're using these tools as a form of communication. when you're using AgileCraft to track progress, that's a form of communication of percentage of the work done and how far along you're in the project. That's a form of communication. And that's something that you can communicate to your stakeholders. Let me give you an example. If you were to use AgileCraft and it's a business project software tracking tool, then you can use it in the form of a spreadsheet or a work breakdown schedule. And a work breakdown schedule serves as a communication tool that you can communicate what work package is being completed, by whom, and assigned to whom. And you can go to a stakeholder who either knows project management or doesn't know project management. But the work breakdown structure is a tool that serves as communication, and you can get a lot of information out of that. So look at project management software as a form of communication when you're communicating to stakeholders, as well as your project team, if you're a project manager, other managers, functional managers, and people throughout the organization. And brings me back to this article of Atlassian acquiring the AgileCraft for $160 million. So I'm going to do a recap of the things that were covered, which were project management related. Please share this out, this Projectized, because this is talking about the business of project management of Atlassian acquiring AgileCraft for $165 million. So the concepts, the project management concepts I addressed were project management software, as well as virtual teams. I also mentioned that for Chapter 9 in the project management body of knowledge of project communication knowledge areas, when you develop, acquire, and you manage teams, you do that in virtual teams. That's also in project resource. Moreover, I also said that project software could be in the resource because it serves as a tool. It can also be in Chapter 10, which is project communication knowledge area, where you are using software to communicate how far along you're in the project, the percent of complete done. You can do your estimates there. I also mentioned procurement knowledge area, which is Chapter 12, specifically 12.1, project management process of making a make or buy decision, where Atlassian made a buy decision to acquire AgileCraft rather than just to ramp up and do it in-house. And as a project manager, you and your team, that's a decision that you make along with the company. So these are some of the project management concepts that are a part of the decision, as I mentioned in this article that just came out about Atlassian agreeing to pay over, agreeing to pay $165 million to acquire AgileCraft. So this is this episode of Projectized. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, and you can follow me here. My universal social media handle is Carla R. Jenkins. You can also check out my website at carlarjenkins.com. If you want to work with me, you can also go to carlarjenkins.com, click on the contact button, fill out the form. I'll receive it. But I would like to thank everyone for taking out the time to watch me here on Projectized. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next live stream video. Goodbye.